Hola, ¿cómo estás? What's going on? It's Matt Ross, the Known Wolf, coming at you with another video. Just doing a little walk and talk here today. Get a little bit of a perspective on my journey so far through Guatemala. And I must say, man, there are a lot of beautiful sights in Guatemala. In particular, I've been in Livingstone. The majority of my time has been spent in Livingstone, which has been incredible. And at the same time as I have such an appreciation for the weather here and for the beauty here, it also gives me appreciation for where I come from. So let's just take a look at this first. Look at this beautiful bridge here. Beautiful water. And you just look around, everywhere you look is you just water and palm trees and tropical. Today is a beautiful day. It's absolutely cooking out. It's 24 degrees. It's great, man. And just when I think about Livingstone and I think about what it's like to be here, it's incredible. Everybody's very warm. And I really appreciate it. I had some really great food while I've been here. Lots of seafood. And it's just been an incredible experience meeting people and staying in different places and seeing how people live. It's a lot more down to earth here. It's not we don't have all the creature comforts that we have, back in Canada, which is fine. It's a different style of life. It's kind of like going back in time a little bit to how it used to be at different places. It reminds me a lot of kind of going out to the cottage or to the cabin in Canada and just relaxing. The one thing I find myself doing a lot here is slowing down. Really slowing down and just adjusting the pace of my life. And it's really been a time of reflection, as I'm trying to figure out what it is exactly I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Things start to become a little more clear. And you start to think about, okay, what are some things I need to do? And I think the most important thing as I go through this experience of being in Livingstone is taking the time to appreciate what you already have. I think sometimes we can get lost in the future thoughts of what we want to have. It's like, oh, one day I'm going to have the greatest job in the world. And once I have the greatest job in the world, everything's going to come together for me. Or once I buy my condo or once I buy my house, that's when I'm going to be truly happy. That's when I'm really going to be truly joyous. And that's when I'm really going to be when I've made it. Or when I get that next job or when I get that next promotion, that's when I'm going to definitely have made it. And I start reflecting on how I used to live my life that way, in which I was always grasping for the next thing. And then I would accomplish the next thing. I would get the big job promotion, or I would make all the money, or I would get my new car. And I was so happy for like a minute, and then I wanted the next thing. Oh, I got a new car. Okay, well, I got a new car. Well, now I need to get tires for the car. Oh, I got a new condo. Oh, well, I need to get the best furniture for the condo. Oh, I got a new house. Well, I gotta install a deck. I gotta install a hot tub. I got the new job promotion. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And all I think about, I find myself sitting in the present thinking about what's next. What's next? I'm here in Livingstone. What's next? What do you have now? That's the most important thing, is what do you have now? And when you think about where you are right now, not everybody's going to be in a perfect position, or in a position of being happy where they currently are. In my situation, I should say. When I was young, I dreamed. I had big dreams of going to the big city in Toronto. For me, it was Toronto, and becoming a Much Music VJ, or becoming a musician, becoming a writer, becoming a painter, and making it in the big city. And the irony of all that was, I came to the big city and I learned how to paint, I learned how to play music, I learned how to sing, I learned how to write. And the most success, what you would call success, that ever came my way was working in a corporation. Believe it or not, what the viewers out there would consider successful. I worked for a bank for 25 years of my life, different banks, and I went through that whole scenario where I climbed up the corporate ladder, and I achieved so many things. I got rewards, and I got, achievements after achievement after achievement. My teams did very well. We achieved our stats. We hit our sales numbers, and I was able to get the condo, and I was able to get the loft downtown, and I was able to find the beautiful women, and I had the coolest friends, and still that was never enough. It was never enough. I could have accomplished every one of my dreams in the whole world. And because of how my mindset was, it would never have been enough. And whatever is enough, when you're out here, when you're searching for yourself out there, out in the material world, outside of your inside self, then you're not going to find it. You're not going to find who you are, because it's determining and finding who you are is going to be an internal journey. It's a journey inside to find out who you are. And it's taken me a long time, and I know I've been talking about that for a long time, but it's taken me many years to figure that out. That the search, when you start searching for who you are, it's not searching outside, it's not searching out there for who you are, it's searching inside for who you are. It's an internal thing. And I was so busy trying to do all the accomplishments and make all my dreams come true, all my material dreams come true, and acquiring all the things in life that I wanted, that I forgot who I was, and that the search and meaning and point of life is to find out who you are inside. I just remember how many times people have asked me, hey, when you meet somebody, hey, how are you? How are you doing? I'm good, yeah. What's your name, Matt? What's your name, Bill? What do you do for a living? This is the first question. It's almost always the first question that you get. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Not what is your vocation? What is your passion in life? What were you brought on this planet to do? No, what do you do for a living? How much do you make? Where do you live? What kind of car you drive? That sort of thing. And it's always been, hola, buenas. And it's always been a external conversation about the outside, what you've accomplished. When somebody says to you, what's your greatest accomplishment? When you're 100 years old and you're on your deathbed, and they say to you, what's your greatest accomplishment in life? A lot of people, when I speak to people, a lot of them say their greatest accomplishment is their kids, having children. A lot of people say that. I don't have any children yet. I will have children one day. And when I do, I'll be proud to have the children, but I'll be even more proud to raise children that have been taught to search for themselves and find their vocation in life. I'll be proud if, I'll be happy, I'll be joyful if I've raised my children so that they can find out who they are. And their goal in life and their meaning in life is to determine and find out who they are, not to just go out there and get a job, or go out there, get an education, get a job, go to university. This is kind of how it works now. Go to university is what you're told. I didn't even go to university. I got my grade 12. Like Ricky, I got my grade 10. I'm gonna get my grade 10. But you're taught, okay, go get this education. And once you got this education, you're gonna go out, you're gonna get the job of your dreams. And then once you have the job of your dreams, you're gonna find the woman of your dreams. Once you have the woman of your dreams, you have the kids of your dreams. And once you have the kids of your dreams, you're gonna have the house of your dreams. And then everything's gonna work out happily ever after. That's kind of like the story. This is the story we've all been told. And in some cases, sure, that might be correct. But everybody's not the same. And everybody's different. Everybody has a different purpose and different meaning in life. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. And here I am out in Guatemala, in Livingstone, in La Buga. Roaming, traveling. And one other thing I realize as I travel and go through, finding out who I am, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're where you're from, if you're in Toronto, or if you're in Canada, you're in the United States, you're in Philippines, whatever. Where you are, there you are. If you don't know who you are and the kind of person you are and and what your gifts are in life, and you're not pursuing the things you're truly passionate about, the things that you truly care about, the things that you're meant to do, it's going to be difficult to acquire a contentment or a joyous contentment or a feeling of contentment, because we're always searching for the thrills, the thrill of getting a promotion, the thrill of getting drunk or getting inebriated in some way, the thrill of meeting a girl for the first time and falling in love. And then when you fall in love, you realize, and you spend your time with the lady or with the man for 3 or 4 years of your life, you realize that romantic love is temporary. And eventually what happens is you begin to recognize the person that you're truly with. And the question becomes, can you appreciate them, and can you love them for who they are, truly who they are, not for who you wish they were, not for who they were 20 years ago, not for your vision of what perfection is in a spouse. But after 2-3 years, when the honeymoon phase is gone, what's left is who the person actually is. And the question becomes, can you love that person for who they are? And take back your projection of perfection that you were requiring out of them. And that doesn't just go with lover, it goes with the infatuation with the job. There's so many. I remember when I was younger and I was coming to Toronto, going to the big city. Here, when they leave Livingstone, when they go to the big city, it's Guatemala City. But when they go to a city, they might go to Barrios, which is a boat ride away. Because, here in La Buga, there's not a ton of just jobs where you can really get ahead in life. It's more, there's fishermen, there's lancha or lancheros that drive boats, and lots of little stores. You could run a bar. You could do little jobs here and there. You could be a tour guide. You could be a chef. But that's pretty much, you can build, do construction, you can be a builder, you can build houses, you can do repairs around the house. I'm sure you can do electricity, you can do water. But that's it. And if you don't want to do any of those things, then it's a requirement, then you have to go. And so when I left to go to the big city, I had dreams of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to become a big deal. I'm going to make lots of money. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to have beautiful women. Buenas. And I'm going to get the home of my dreams. I'm going to live the life of my dreams. And I'm going to be as happy as I ever could be. And then I went out and I did all of that. I got a really good job. I made a lot of money. I got the condo of my dreams. I got the loft of my dreams. I had the woman of my dreams. And it was never enough. I always wanted more. Once I got the loft, I wanted the house. Once I got the BMW, I wanted the M3. Once I got the director job, I wanted senior director job. Once I got senior director, I wanted VP. And I just lived in the world of want versus in the world of contentment. And the reason why I was living in the world of want is because because all I've really wanted all this time is to find out who I am, what I'm meant to be doing here on this planet, and discovering what my true vocation in life is. And if you find yourself constantly always out there wanting something else other than what you're doing, then that's a good indication that you haven't found your vocation. You haven't found your true gifts in life. And so, coming out to Livingstone, slowing down, taking time to take into account all the different things in my life, all the different things where I come from, and kind of understanding that maybe I was putting a little bit of the blame on my unhappiness. I was putting the blame on the weather. Like maybe it was I didn't like the Toronto weather. I don't like the leadership of the country. I don't like the taxes. And I started finding myself blaming all these different things that I didn't like in the country that I come from. But really, what I truly did not like was that I was doing something that I didn't feel I was meant to do. And I was living a life that I thought was supposed to be making me happy, that was supposed to make me happy, and that everybody would dream to have. Well, at least I thought that. And, what do you do when you accomplish all your major material goals in life and you still aren't fulfilled? And you're still, as they say, not happy, you're not content. What do? Do you continue to do the same thing and just accept the fact that this is how your life's going to be forever? Or do you start doing other things and try to determine what it is you are really meant to do? And I think that we all come to that crossroads. And a lot of people come to that crossroads at different stages in their life, but a lot of times it comes in the middle of your life, where you have the midlife crisis, or I like to call it midlife opportunity, where you realize that essentially you've been lying to yourself. At the same time, while you go through all of that, as I travel through El Salvador, and as I travel through Honduras, and as I travel through Guatemala, and I travel through Livingstone and Barrios, I realize that I've taken a lot of stuff for granted where I'm from. You know? I realized that I didn't truly appreciate what we have in Canada, what we have in the United States. We have so much. We have so much as far as infrastructure, plumbing, quality of food, cleanliness, really beautiful facilities, beautiful subways, lots of really great infrastructure. And we can, and in Toronto, you can go out and you can get whatever kind of food you want to get. You can get any kind of food from anywhere in the world, high quality, and taste some of the greatest food that you could ever taste in the world. An hour away in New York, it's the same thing. New York is a little different. But I found that I didn't appreciate, and I haven't appreciated what I've had in my life because I was so busy searching for the next thing to make me happy. And when it doesn't take anything to make you happy, what it does, it just takes accepting. It takes accepting the fact that no possession, no material possession is going to make you happy. You might get a temporary happiness, but it's not going to bring you a long, consistent, lasting contentment. And until you start to realize that, until I started to realize that, it wasn't until I started to realize that I really truly started to explore, to find out what is life all about. I thought I had all the answers. I thought I knew everything. Nobody could tell me anything. When I was younger, I was like, get all the money you can get all the women you can get. God doesn't exist. I'm the center of the universe. I'm all that matters. Nothing else matters but me, my achievements, my moving ahead in life. And damn everybody behind me that made the bridges I burned light my way. This is my attitude for a long time. I wanted to crush skulls. Not literally, but I mean metaphorically. I wanted to crush every target I ever had in front of me. I wanted to be the greatest partier in the world. I want to be the greatest of everything, greatest writer. And it was more about, look at what I can do. Look at me, look what I can do. I'm the greatest man that's ever lived. I'm Matt Ross. Mateo Rose. And I said that many times, I'm the greatest man that ever lived, And you get that temporary inflation. And then when you go high like that, when you fly close to the sun, there's only one place you can come, and it's down. So these lessons were buenas. These lessons were, and trust me, you talk to anybody that's ever known me will know that I've had ego struggles with my ego. Letting my ego take over. And as I walk through Livingstone and I meet people, the one thing I'm constantly reminded of is the importance of humility. And why being humble, no matter how much stuff you have, meeting people who are humble, that know who they are, and speak when they have something to say, listen when they need to listen. Those are the most powerful people in the world. Those are the true elders. The people that know themselves, the people that know what their belief, know what their morals are, know what their their attributes are, know what matters to them, what are their values. And seeking out people that have the same values as you is important. Being in a country where people have the same values as you is important. So when people ask you, and so many times in a job interview, what are your 3 greatest strengths? What matters to you the most? Well, what it comes down to is, for me, honesty, integrity, authenticity. These are absolutely at the absolute top of my list. Trustworthiness, humility, have fun with your friends. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't have fun with your friends. But coming out here and slowing my life down a lot. I've been here for about a month now. And it's changed. It's been life-changing for me. Look at these little birds. Those little birds. Can you see them? Hope you can see them. Being by the water every day. Now here's the thing. I'm not saying that Livingstone, I had to come here to find joy. Although, look at those birds. Buenas. But I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to contemplate and reflect and sit still and relax. And I've had lots of ups and downs while I've been here as well. It hasn't all been perfect, Lost a cell phone, lost a couple of cell phones, got locked out of the place we were staying. There's no not a lot of Airbnbs here. Okay, gotta crash this stream. You think I can do it? Oof. That's the most action you get out of me in a day. But there's been a lot of challenges. We have our dog with us. She's with Paola right now. We had to find a vet, get the paperwork done. We've been living in close quarters, kind of living on top of each other, not a lot of space. This is where you truly get to know. In the tough situations, not the great times. It's not the great times when. It's not the great times when. One second here. It's not the great times when you're with a person that you find out who they are. It's the tough times. And, even though I'm pretty chilled out, lots of the time, certain things can still bug me. And I still have a lot of room to grow personally. Losing a cell phone, I had a lot of my information on it. It's very frustrating. It was very frustrated. And I can let it, when you have a situation like that happen, you can let it ruin your day. You can say, well, that happened, so now my day is ruined and I'm unhappy and the yada, yada, yada. It's an excuse for you to be a little kid again. And when you think about it, when you look back on your life and you're sitting on your deathbed at 100 years old, am I going to look back on my life and think to myself, Oh, I wish I wouldn't have lost that cell phone. Like, no, of course not. It doesn't fucking matter. That stuff doesn't matter. And that's what I'm still working on, getting better at, is accepting the good and the bad as the same. And it's really just life happens. And so, but it's been a lot of tests for me. A lot of tests on my philosophy in life. You know, remaining calm, cool, and collected through difficult experiences is hard to do. If you care, if you're attached to these things. And getting rid of and letting go of attachments is very important. You know, I've been attached to so many things in my life. I've been attached to my job. I've been attached to my dreams. I've been attached to how much money I make. I've been attached to my condo. I've been attached to my friends. I've been attached to making sure I have the most beautiful girl around me. I've been attached to what other people think about me. I've been attached to when I come back home to Canada, you know, what are people going to think about me? And I've been controlled by, and I've allowed, for a long time, I've allowed other people's thoughts about me to control who I am. And at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. You are who you are. There's only one you in this world. Nature doesn't make duplicates. Nature or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, there are no duplicates. It's only originals. Only originals exist on this plane. I've said this many times in my walk and talks. And if you're an original, and you know you're an original, then why would you care what somebody else thinks about you? You are the only one in the world like you. And people, whether they criticize you or they love you, it doesn't matter, because the people that criticize you, the ones that love you, they could both have their reasons. And you can't let the criticism get you down. You can't let the praise get you up. You got to look at it as if it's the same thing. Because you're not, if you're out here trying to live your life so that other people can praise you, or you're allowing other people's negative thoughts on you, of what you're doing bring you down, then you're already lost. You've already lost. Because you're not out here living for other people. You're not out here living for other people's thoughts about you. You're an original. There's only one person in this planet like you. So only you know what you're thinking. Only you know what your perspective is. Only you will be able to uncover your gifts. Don't get me wrong. Once you have started to uncover your gifts and your talents, you will recognize it by how you feel when you're doing the things that you're doing. But also, you will have other people recognize the talent or your natural gifts as well. And so that is important. Don't get me wrong. When people recognize your gifts and they praise you, when they say, "Hey, you're really, really great at communicating on YouTube videos," or "You're really, really great," or your musicianship is next level, where they really just truly appreciate you because you're authentically expressing yourself, you're expressing your talent in your own unique way, and you're speaking to the world how you're meant to speak to the world. When you're doing that, when you're living authentically, when you're living how you're supposed to be living, people will recognize that, and people will love you for it, and people will hate you for it. The people will come for you for it. Once people see and recognize that person is authentically themselves, people will love you for it and they'll be drawn to you, but people also want to tear you down because they can never be who you are. They wish they could have be authentic, but they struggle because they don't know what it's like to be authentic. They've never done a search through their own internal self, through their own soul, through their own being, to find out who they are. So when people see that you are living in authenticity, truly as yourself, this is where you get the most haters, and this is where you get the most people that truly can appreciate you. But these people that see you authentically being yourself and engaging and displaying and performing and being and showing your talents, people will try to bring you down for that. And that's okay. That's part of it. You can't. We've all had our jealous times and our jealous fits. I have for sure. But once you start truly engaging in your authenticity and who you truly are, and you start and you do that consistently, you're gonna find that when the good things or the so-called good things happen, when the so-called bad things happen, you're not gonna let you get yourself too inflated. You're not gonna let yourself get too down, because you know what you're gonna be doing. You know that you're on the track. You are yourself. You are being, and you're acting in authenticity. So nothing's gonna be able to really throw you off that much. And that's what the gift of being here in Livingstone, the gift of helping me slow down, the gift of helping me really contemplate and really reflect and really start to find out, what do I appreciate in life? And what are some of the things I appreciate the most in life? Well, number one, I appreciate authenticity. People who are being themselves authentically. I love being around people that are authentically themselves. It's an incredible thing. Somebody that's not playing up to the world, or trying to be everybody's best friend, or trying to be nice to everybody. Somebody that is honestly expressing themselves, expressing their talents, whatever those talents may be, and isn't trying to impress you or isn't trying to win you over. Doesn't matter what you think about their talents. Those are the real ones. I don't mean like I'm keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real so I can say whatever I want and be a dick to you. The real ones are the ones that know themselves, know their talents, but they don't have to go out there in the whole world and show everybody how talented they are. It's just everybody knows it. If you've got talent, if you have something that you do very well, you don't need any praise, because everybody knows you're great at what you're doing. And you know it. So that's why you don't have to say anything about it. Because what's the point in saying you're great when everybody already knows you're great? It's a waste of your fucking breath. So humility. And I'm not talking fake humility. I'm talking about just being yourself allows for humility. And trust me, humility has been a struggle of mine. But as I go through this journey that I'm going through, as I'm trying to find myself and it's not something that you don't just all of a sudden one day, oh, I found out who I am and now that's it. That's who I am and I'm perfect now. That's not how this works. Your journey to yourself is something that you do every single day. You're constantly uncovering yourself. You're constantly uncovering and remembering and becoming yourself. This is not something that happens every day. And there's going to be times where you are yourself, and there's going to be times where you regress and you aren't yourself, and you regress back to your old self. Shakespeare said it the best in Hamlet: to be or not to be. What's that mean? To be yourself or not be yourself? That is the question. To be or not to be. So either you are yourself or you're not yourself. And when you're not acting as yourself, that's when you start making the worst decisions. Look at Hamlet. If you look at the story of Hamlet, you see that because he wasn't being true to himself, and because he wasn't being who he was supposed to be, and he wasn't stepping into his own shoes, he continuously made more and more and more bad decisions, which eventually led to his demise. And at the end of the play, he kind of realized, for the 1 second, he kind of realized where it all went wrong. And how it all went wrong was he wasn't being himself. And he wasn't acting in accordance with who he truly was. He wasn't acting, and he wasn't being himself, and he was not taking on life, and he was not utilizing his talents and his intuitions and the things like he should have been. And he kind of comes to that realization at the end of the play. But you just look at all those mistakes he's made, and it's really the story of Hamlet is the story of modern day man right now. 3D man is the story of Hamlet. And at the same time, there's the story of Faust, the deal with the devil, which was the same, basically Goethe, I'm not sure how you say his name. He was basically the German version of Shakespeare. And he was writing Faust at the same time Shakespeare is writing Hamlet. And Faust is more about, you make a deal with the devil, but really what it's about is recognizing that every human being on the planet has a shadow or a dark side. And we need to recognize that's a fact. And the goal is, how do we temper the shadow? How do we temper the dark side? Accept that it's there, not regress it or repress it, accept it. And how do we temper and utilize it? And how do we help incorporate or integrate it into our own soul, into our own self, and help it help us? And that's what's going to help you truly discover who you are, is understanding that you can't just repress your dark side. You have to accept the fact that no matter what, you're going to have dark thoughts from time to time. And repress and just being like, no, just positive thinking all the time. That's all I want to do. That's all I'm going to do, positive thinking all the time. But as we go through this journey, this life, the search for yourself starts becoming much more important as you get older. Because when you, wow, God, geez, this is so wonderful here. Incredible. When you get to a certain point in your life, no matter what you accomplish next, it will never be enough. If you don't know who you are, if you haven't found yourself, if you aren't embracing your vocation, if you aren't living in authenticity. And I'm not saying, when I say authenticity, I don't mean living so that other people, so what other people think authenticity is. Living authentically is where you know yourself, you express your opinions, you express your ideas, you express yourself honestly with integrity, as consistent as you possibly can. Somebody, how are you doing today? Good. You know what I mean? Not having a good day. I guess it's just a nicety, right? But just be like, okay, it's okay to have a bad day. But so many times, especially in Canada, we're known for being nice. And what does that mean, though, to be nice? If you're being nice in the face of somebody being rude to you, or somebody's stealing from you, or somebody's harming you, if you're just there being nice and you're not stepping up and you're not stepping in who you are, you're not authentically expressing yourself and making sure that you're authentically telling people what's up when they're doing something bad to you, that's not living in authenticity. Being nice, just for the sake of being nice, is not authentic. There is nothing worse in the world than meeting somebody that's nice all the time, constantly nice, because you know underneath that beautiful big smile, there's a big, big, dark, dark, dark shadow hiding, waiting to pounce on you. One ass. And this is what I've come to realize in life. Let's get in the water. So Canadians, stop priding yourself on being nice. Start priding yourself on being yourself. Discover who you are. Be authentic. And that's not just Canadians, anybody in the world, but I would like for Canada and for Canadians to stop priding themselves on being nice and start priding themselves on being themselves, being authentic, and letting people know that yeah, we'll be nice if it makes sense to be nice, but if it doesn't make sense to be nice, we won't be nice, or I won't be nice. So I call on all us Canadians, let's just be known for being authentic, not being nice. And it's not just all Canadians, all people in the world. Authenticity is preferable to being a fake piece of cake. So I'd rather be a real piece of trash than a fake piece of cake. Although I don't want to be trash, but I think it's important to be honest and not to be liked. I think it's important to be yourself and not be liked sometimes. I think it's important to speak honestly and within the frame of your values, and listen to people and accept other people's bad opinions on you. So this is important. So as I start going through this journey, even though I'm out here in Central America, the beauty of Central America, for me, has been how it's helped me to slow down, allowed me to contemplate, and allowed me to kind of shut out the whole world and really start to understand and know myself and know what is truly important in life. And know that where you are, there you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Central America or if you're in Canada. If you're yourself, you're going to be happy wherever you are. It doesn't matter. Or if you're unhappy, you could be in the middle of paradise and still be miserable. Think about how many rich people, so-called rich people, are absolutely the most miserable people on the planet. I don't know who it was that somebody said the worst part of getting money was hanging out with rich people or hanging out with wealthy people, because wealthy people got what they say is, and I don't know, but I think it was one of these famous rappers said the worst part of being famous, rich and famous, is hanging out with wealthy people. You know what I mean? Because I guess wealthy people, to a degree, if you meet a lot of these people, lack authenticity. You know, people think that if you got the nicest car, you have the most beautiful woman, you have the nicest clothes, you have the biggest house, that everybody should just love you for that fact. That's not how it works. People love you. People love the people that are themselves the most. And people hate people that are themselves the most, especially people that don't know who they are. So it's a double-edged sword. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. If you are yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think about you, good or bad. You just got to accept it and move on, because you got to understand that people will be attracted. People are always drawn to authenticity. So If there's one message throughout this is the longest walk and talk I've done. But if there's one message out there that I really want to implore out to all the known wolves, is take time to find out who you are. Take time to reflect and be in the moment, and try not to just be chasing the next thing. And understand that chasing the next thing, chasing the next bottle of booze, chasing the next cigarette, chasing the next job promotion, chasing the next woman, chasing the next vacation, chasing the next job, chasing, and achieving, that's not going to bring you happiness. That's not going to bring you continued contentment. It'll bring you little thrills along the way, but it's not going to truly content you. Finding out who you are, finding out what your gifts are, expressing yourself authentically, being honest, humility, integrity, and encouraging other people to search for who they are and help. And the more people that discover who they truly are, the better this world will become. The better your world will become. The better the people around you's world will become. What it comes down to when we think about what do we need to really do, what do we really need to change in this world, is number one is you need to change yourself into yourself. That's what we need to do. And really it's not changing, it's just accepting and remembering and listening to your heart's yearning. This is important. And this is what I ask everybody out there to do. Listen to your heart. Okay? So all the known all the known wolves, thank you for listening. I'm Matt Ross. I'm on the search for myself. I love Livingstone, I love La Buga, and I love doing these walk and talks. So thank you. Take care.